I get it, you looking at a shiny new grill and wondering whether it's worth the space in the driveway and the money in the bank, especially when you've already seen a few half-finished backyard BBQs that turned into smoke alarms. You're not alone. A lot of folks I talk to hesitate because they've heard stories of grills that look perfect on paper, but end up being a hassle to hook up, or they are worried about spending a premium only to find the performance underwhelming. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'm going to walk you through the real-world stuff that matters, so you can decide if the Weber Genesis E330 is the right fit before you pull the trigger. First off, the Genesis line is Weber's attempt to bridge the gap between a backyard hobbyist setup and a more serious outdoor kitchen. The E330 is a natural gas model, which means you won't have to juggle propane tanks if you already have a gas line running to your patio. That's a huge convenience, but it also means you need to be comfortable with a professional install, or at least have a plan for a dedicated gas line. If you live in a rental or an apartment with no gas access, this model is probably a deal breaker. On the other hand, if you already have a natural gas line or are planning a permanent outdoor kitchen, the built-in convenience of never having to swap tanks can actually save you time and money in the long run. What really sets this grill apart in everyday use is the PureBlu burner design. Those tapered burners claim better heat distribution, and in practice you'll notice that the hot spots are minimal compared to a standard straight tube burner. I've watched friends fire up a Genesis for a quick weeknight steak, and the grill reaches a solid sear temperature in about 8 minutes without any hotspot hunting. That means you can lay a steak on one side, a veggie kebab on the other, and both will cook evenly, a small but noticeable quality of life upgrade. The extra grilling space is another practical win. With 3 burners you get roughly 600 square inches of cooking area, plus a warming rack that sits above the burners. The warming rack is not just for keeping food hot, it's handy for cooking delicate items like fish, or reheating buns without overcooking the main heat. Because the grill is built around cast iron grates paired with flavorizer bars, you get that classic Weber flavor imprint on the food, plus the grates stay hotter longer than lighter-weight steel alternatives. In my experience, the cast iron plates hold heat well enough that you can get a nice char on a burger, then move it over to the flavorizer bars to finish cooking without losing the sear. Now, the grease management system is something people often overlook until they have to clean up after a long cookout. The Genesis routes excess fat into a removable tray that slides out from the bottom, making it easier to dump the grease without scrubbing the burners. It's not a magical self-cleaning feature, but it does reduce the mess compared to older models where you have to manually scrape the drip pan. If you're the type who loves to grill once a week and hates the post-grill cleanup, you'll appreciate this design. So who should really consider this grill? If you're someone who grills at least a few times a week, enjoys experimenting with different heat zones, and already have or are ready to invest in a natural gas line, the Genesis E330 feels like a solid mid-range upgrade from a basic 2-burner propane unit. The 3 burners give you enough flexibility to set up a direct thigh sear zone, a medium zone for chicken thighs, and a low zone for slower cooking items like ribs. The built-in warming rack expands that flexibility further. For families that entertain often, or for anyone who wants a grill that can handle a full spread without crowding the cooking surface, the extra square footage and heat consistency are worth the price tag. Conversely, if you only fire up the grill on holidays or you're happy with a compact portable unit, you might be paying for features you'll never use. The natural gas requirement also makes it a less attractive option for renters or folks who don't want to commit to a permanent gas line. And while the PureBlu burners do a decent job spreading heat, they aren't a miracle if you're looking for a grill that can hit 700 F instantly for that restaurant-style sear. You might need a higher-end model, or a charcoal setup. The grill's weight, at over 150 pounds, also means moving it is a 2-person job, so keep that in mind if you anticipate rearranging your patio often. Let's talk about the practical weaknesses that show up after a few months of use. The cast iron grates, while great for flavor, are heavier than stainless steel alternatives and require regular seasoning to prevent rust, especially if you live in a humid climate. If you skip that maintenance, you'll notice a slight discoloration after a season. The flavorizer bars are removable, which is